Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Aura News broadcast. It is time once again for our daily English news edition, and I'm Daniel Cook, your host, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. The most recent data from the Bank of Albania shows that foreign investments, one of the only resources that has affected economic growth so far, have shrunk by 10% this year. The data shows that during the third quarter of this year, the flow of foreign investments in Albania amounted to 230.4 million euro, marking a decrease of 10% or 25.6 million euro compared to the same period a year ago. The decline in foreign investment this quarter was due to the contraction of investments in hydrocarbons, and until now, this sector has been the main contributor to the increase of foreign investments, representing more than 50%. Additionally, the recent data from the Bank of Albania shows that the reduction is also because of the decline in oil prices, decreasing the interest of enterprises in making capital investments. In the third quarter of this year, investments were focused on the energy sector for the first time in recent history, with 61% of the investments in small and medium hydropower plants. The next largest investment focus was the banking sector and telecommunications, which have attracted respectively 8% and 2% of inflows of foreign direct investment. The chairman of the Economic Commission, Erion Brace, has clarified the conflict between the government and the fuel marketing company GFI Albania, which interrupted its operations yesterday. Mr. Brace said that the company wants to be paid for a service that is not technically possible to complete. He declared that crude oil cannot be marked. According to him, this is an impossibility, and he said that the Albanian government will not withdraw from its attitude. He gave a warning that all concession contracts that have added extra cost for the Albanian citizens will be reviewed in January. An agreement was reached between the government and fuel marketing company yesterday, and today they resumed their service, narrowly avoiding a crisis in the fuel market. Despite the widespread rejection of the stakeholders and the Socialist Movement for Integration, the Parliamentary Economic Commission adopted the increase on excise of domestic beer today. The excise on domestic beer will be increased by 11%, and excise on imported beer will be decreased by 15%. The Democratic MP Edmond Spaho rejected the decision, saying that it was unfair and harmful to domestic production. The Democrats claim that the change is being made in order to favor some importers who are close to the Prime Minister. On the other side of the argument, the head of the Economic Commission, Erion Brace, claimed that the change is being made to reduce abuse. He rejected the Democrats' statement that the change will damage domestic production. The Commission also adopted the law on excise for fiscal stamps. The citizens of Ndroqi and other administrative units around the area held a protest today over the condition of the national road that runs between Tirana, Ndroqi, and Plepa. The citizens warned that if there is nothing done about the road, they will escalate their protests and block the road if necessary. They also threatened to boycott the upcoming elections because, according to them, the MPs and local officials have never kept their electoral promises. One representative of the protesters had this to say: "The governments have not intervened in this road for 25 years. We will escalate the protests if a solution is not found. We do not want to block the road, but we will do it if necessary. The governments have not kept their promises. We will boycott the elections if a solution is not found. This is a national road and it serves everyone," they said. The farmers are complaining that they cannot take their produce to market because of the heavily damaged road, and business owners along the road say that their businesses are barely surviving. Some weeks ago, the citizens submitted a petition with about 1,000 signatures to the Prime Minister's office and to the Ministry of Transportation. They have not received an answer yet, and they say that they will protest again to demand investments in the infrastructure of their area if there is no answer to their concern. The coordinators of the ruling coalition held a meeting today and agreed to adopt the fiscal package and the 2016 budget in the plenary session of December 17th. The meeting was attended by the chairman of the SMI, Ilir Meta, Prime Minister Edi Rama, the Minister of Finance, the chairman of the Economic Commission, the chairman of the Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity, and the heads of the Socialist Party and SMI parliamentary groups. Together, they discussed the suggestions and requests for the local government budgets and for the health sector. The Minister of Economy says that they agreed to establish an ad hoc commission for the electoral reform, which will be co-chaired by the Socialist Party and the Democratic Party. Minister Almetai also indicated that they discussed the upcoming votes on important bills that require a qualified majority. The Minister of Justice, Manjani, thinks that Albania is still far away from realizing and implementing the justice reform. He criticized the political class for not addressing the real heart of the reform. He also commented on the Democratic Party's demand for a technical government, considering it to be a very bad idea. He said that all previous technical governments have destroyed the country. The minister announced that the institution he leads will soon undertake a legal initiative to make fundamental changes to the criminal code. Minister Manjani also commented on the problems facing the Ministry of Justice, primarily the absence of funds, a concern that was also raised during the debate over the 2016 budget. Mr. Manjani reiterated his concern that there is a lack of uniforms for Albanian prison guards. He announced that he will propose a change to the law on the administrative courts and said that he has already proposed a law on amnesty to the government. Minister Manjani says that an amnesty law is necessary because, according to him, the state is paying €800 per month for each prisoner, the same as the salary of a member of the High Court. He believes that an amnesty law will solve the problems of overcrowding in the prisons. He gave his assurance that the law will not include the release of those convicted for serious crimes. For the first time in the last 25 years, Albanian immigrants who live abroad will be registered, according to the Interior Minister Sajmir Tahiri. The Prime Minister believes that it is important that the state should know where all of its citizens are. Albania has around 4.4 million people registered, and it is speculated that about 1 million of them live abroad, but the number has never been an exact one. For this reason, the government has decided to register all Albanian citizens by next year. This bill was introduced by the Interior Minister Sajmir Tahiri, who issued a call for all Albanian citizens living abroad to register with the state so they can benefit from consular services. Tahiri says that this will be a new patriotic contract between the government and its citizens abroad. Albania will be receiving €89.9 million following a decision made by the European Council to approve the pre-accession fund. This fund is part of a major EU project which has allocated €1 billion to the Western Balkans and Turkey in the framework of supporting the reforms and interregional cooperation. The €89.9 million granted to our country will be used for reforms in democracy, governance, rule of law, and in support of fundamental human rights. Support will also be given for employment, education, and social policies. The EU will provide €155 million to finance large infrastructure and energy projects with the goal of linking the Balkan countries. This includes the modernization of 4 power lines, the construction of 2 roads, and 2 railways. Albania will benefit from the modernization of the current energy line with Macedonia and the beginning of construction of an underwater line that will connect Albania with Italy is expected. Meanwhile, €78 million will be given to Kosovo to support its reforms and the reconstruction of the railway that runs between Kosovo and other regional countries. The EC Commissioner Hahn had made the following concern. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed that we will now interrupt the English edition and take you live to the Congressional Palace, where the Democratic Party are celebrating their 25th anniversary.